in person and remote format consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, which further extend certain COVID-19 measures regarding remote participation in public meetings until June 30th, 2027. Please note that not all items listed may be in fact discussed, and all of the items and other items listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This agenda includes those matters which can be reasonably anticipated to be discussed at this meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. All the materials are available at the Conservation Division page under
Projects by here.
By here, yeah, sorry, thank you. Brian Bowe is the commission chair, will facilitate this meeting. Please note that there will be a public comment period at the end of each hearing. Each vote taken during tonight's meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote, and we'll begin with a roll call attendance. Brian, can you please review tonight's agenda and take attendance?
Okay, do attendance first. The order I call your name in is the order that we will vote in. Tim?
Michelle, member present.
Rick?
Akio, member present.
Joe?
Joseph Fleury, associate member present.
Walter?
Walter Talbot, commissioner present.
Martha?
Martha Moore, vice chair present.
Brian Bowe, chair, present. Okay, I'll review the agenda. It's a full agenda tonight, so we're going to try and move it along. The first item is a continuation of a public hearing for notice of intent for 0 East of Haverhill Street, otherwise known as Simon's Way. That will be continued. Then we're going to move to 885 Main Street, which is a continuation of public hearing on notice of intent. Then we move to 57 Longwood Road, which is a notice of intent. That will be continued to September 10th, followed by 692 Pearl Street, which is a continuation of a public hearing on a request for determination of applicability. Next is 18 Knollwood, which is opening a public hearing on a notice of intent. Next is 1503 Main Street, which is opening a public hearing on an RDA, followed by 50 Longfellow Road, which is opening a public hearing on a request for determination of applicability. And the last agenda item for tonight is 0 John Street, which is opening a public hearing on a request for determination of applicability. We then move to old new business, some discussion items, and then we adjourn.
I'm going to hit the recording right now.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
I mentioned the first one is going to be continued, so let's move quickly. Can I have a motion to continue 0 East of Haverhill through August 27th?
So moved.
Walt Talbot seconds it.
Michelle, in favor.
Akio in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, the next one is 880.
And before we move on from that, we just want to set up a site visit to count the trees, just to see how many commissioners can come out and do that.
Okay,
So it will just be a commissioner tree counting. So no one from, maybe the town engineer will show up, but no one from Activitas is going to be there.
okay, when do we want to have that done by?
We want to have it done by the next meeting, so
Okay,
it might take longer than just to put it on the regular site visit
yeah.
on Monday. So maybe sometime next week would work.
Any idea how much time we would need to do that?
I would think an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah, okay. So could anybody do it? Let's start with next Monday. Could anybody do it Monday morning?
I'm good.
Yeah, I can make it.
Is there any chance we could possibly do it in the evening? Or you could join me in the evening?
But we only do one count, so it'd be one time. So typically
Then I
we
will
do.
not be available.
Okay,
Yeah, I think counting the trees is,
So I'm working on it now. Yeah, I should be able to make it.
all right.
8:30.
yeah,
Yeah, at the very least, we have
This is a
enough.
number.
So let's say it, let's say
And
it's.
I'm sorry, I'm not available that morning.
Okay, well, you're not a math teacher anyways. So we'll have it on
Monday, the 18th.
August 18th at 8:30. We'll meet and park in the same place we did over in the Burbank parking lot. Okay?
So 8:30 on Monday morning.
Okay. So next is 885 Main Street is not here yet.
No, Janet's not here, but just we might just ask if someone's here from Horsley Witten, if they could raise their hand and we could let them into the meeting.
If you're gonna raise your hand, you find the reactions button at the bottom right of your screen and hit the raise hand function. Anything?
Yeah, so no one's raising their hand. So no one's here from Horsley Witten.
So what we'll do then is we'll continue this to later in this meeting to give her a chance to show up. I guess what we'll do is Chuck, we'll keep an eye out for her, and when she shows, we can take it as the next item. Can I have a motion to continue 885 Main Street to later in this meeting.
So moved.
Walter Talbot seconds it.
Michelle in favor.
Keo in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Rainbow in favor. Okay, next is 57 Longwood Road. This is also continued, this one to September 10th. Can I have a motion to continue 57 Longwood to September 10th?
So moved.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Michelle in favor.
Keo in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Rainbow in favor. Okay, next is 692 Pearl Street. This is a continuation, I'll read the blurb. Continuation of public hearing on a request for determination of applicability filed by Richard Keogh pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and/or the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1. The applicant proposes tree removal of 11 trees within 100 feet of a bordering vegetated wetland and intermittent stream. The application and plans can be viewed during regular business hours at the Town Hall Conservation Office, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Mass., or on the Conservation Division page under the project by year. Assessors Map 57, Lot 2, RDA 2025-8.
Richard Keogh, member, recusing myself.
Okay. Okay, I believe the only thing that is new to consider would be the latest planting plan. I don't know that we need you to walk us through it, if we can just get to any questions, comments, if there are any. So does anybody have questions, comments on the latest plan? Chuck, can you bring that up?
What I'm not seeing on this plan is how it connects to the tree cutting plan. And I don't know. So, how many trees are we assuming are being cut? And how does that compare to the plantings that are being put in?
So from the last meeting, 2 meetings ago, there was 11 within the buffer. We added 1 dead one, 2 was already assumed dead, and then we added 2 additional trees that were hovering right around that 100-foot line. And at the previous meeting, the board agreed that they wanted 4 trees. I put in 5, the same amount of shrubs, which is equivalent to 17.5 trees, which would be 6.5 more than what would be required.
So from your plot plan that looks like this, you're assuming we're taking down all the trees that have alphabet letters next to them, plus the 2 more just beyond the 100-foot line. Is that correct? where you alphabetize them up through K.
And I had the two that you scroll down, Chuck.
Sorry,
Okay.
just doing my best to get hold of Janet.
No,
Here?
Nope, keep going.
Ah, yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
I had an L and an N.
Okay, so L, M, and where's N?
N is a.
Oh, the dead one up high, yep. Okay,
Because that wasn't initially on the plan, but the board agreed that it was dead.
okay. And I have notes on many of these trees of issues where I agree that the health of the trees is not good. The ones I questioned whether they really needed to come down were D, E, F, and K. And there's J in the middle of them, which I think I agreed needed to come down. So that was the only questions I had of whether those need to be included or not. And I wonder whether any other commission members have questions about those.
Is K outside the 100-foot?
Okay, it's
Just inside.
No, just outside, actually.
Looks like it's outside.
Okay,
Yep,
Okay,
good point.
So K is
Okay.
off the list.
no, because it's 200 feet we're talking about, it's inside the 100-foot from the top right of the view.
Oh, yep,
all those marked are within the 100 feet.
right. Yeah, the other 100-foot line, the vertical 100-foot line.
Yeah.
So Brian, the jurisdiction is 100 feet.
Right.
All right, I
We've
thought you
got
said the second
two-
200 feet.
Two different
The second of
100-foot
the-
Okay,
lines.
okay.
Any questions, comments, anything? Okay,
Going back to the other picture, I think I have answered my own question just by saying, you had the two red lines
Yes.
unlabeled. Those are the 100-foot lines.
It was asked at the last meeting to add those into the plan.
Yeah, but they're not labeled, that's,
yeah, but they are though, yeah.
Okay, so when we're counting 11 trees here, when it goes up to N, N is not counted because it's already dead,
Correct. So it's a
but
total-
L and M are counted
Correct, so it's a total of 14 minus,
because 3 of them are dead.
that's correct.
Got it, okay, and the dead ones are A, I think
Right next to it.
B
B.
and N,
Correct.
okay.
Chuck, do you have any comments?
I don't have any comments
Okay,
at this moment. Did you run through the commission?
I don't see any comments or questions. Martha asked a question, didn't really say whether you thought they should or should not come down.
Right.
Gloucester Street.
Oh. Well,
It's odd, behind you is still fine.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Anyway, Martha, so what do you think? All right, so for taking down those trees, what is the mitigation that's been proposed? The mitigation, Rick, do you want to take us through the mitigation?
Pardon?
Do you want to take us through the mitigation, the plantings you're gonna do?
Is it possible that Chuck can change us so that we can see the planting plan? Oh, that is the planting plan up
It is a
there.
planting plan.
There we go.
So, Martha, I listened to you at the last meeting, you thought behind the Mount Laurel near the ditch would be a good spot for a tree.
Yeah,
I've worked with a landscaper and hopefully that we could fit a flowering dog behind the Mount Laurels.
okay,
Where the two dead ones are, that's gonna create one. And we believe we can fit a black gum tree there. Between a sugar maple, there's also a dead tree there as well. It's not leading towards the house, it's on the neighbor's property. It's leading straight back. That's actually hugging a sugar maple tree. But that could be, between those trees could be a good spot for an eastern red cedar. And then in addition to the other sugar maple and sapling, you could put a black gum where the trees that are being taken down, okay, even being right nearby, it's a good spot for a red maple. There's also a sugar maple in the back that I believe is healthy and can stay. As well as the nice summer sweets in front of all the three trees along the property line, not on the property line, just about probably about 7 feet away from it, I think, roughly. And I'm estimating that the Mount Laurels will be about 3 feet apart, as well as the summer sweets.
okay. So that red maple is going where the trees I was questioning are coming down.
So just behind the shed, enough where it's away from the roots,
Yeah.
because we're gonna still need the root ball in the ground.
And then it's not listed here, but part of your mitigation, I think, is clearing out some buckthorn that's back in that same area behind the shed.
Already done.
Okay, but that does count as mitigation, so you may have already done it, but when we're listing up what your mitigation is, you've done some invasive removal as well.
So take credit for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I did also let the neighbor know as well that he had some buckthorns back there as well.
Yeah, and
Public service announcement.
a previous planting plan, you had some foundation plantings in front of the house. And are those still gonna be going in, or some of them at least? Okay,
Then Martha, I did remove the
boxwood,
boxwood.
thank
I
you.
did remove that.
Oh, there they are, yeah,
Yeah, so I'm kind of sticking with the same game plan, minus that boxwood.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay?
So at this point, I think we've gone back and forth a number of times. Unless there's any objections, I think we can vote on this.
Chuck or anybody in the audience needing to weigh
I can
in?
ask the audience, that's a good point. Is anybody in the audience have anything to say on this? Does anybody in the online audience have anything to say? I wouldn't expect so, but
So I just wondered when we're gonna have the planting, when's the planting's gonna take place, and that we're gonna have the survivability,
yeah.
it's a survivability discussion. You can close, then the commission can talk about that.
Okay,
But the first question, I think,
right, but there's nobody online though, right?
Rick, I didn't see any hands raised.
Okay. So when do you think you're gonna be planting?
Right now, it all depends on how fast we reach out, for the kind of, during hurricane season soon. So if something happens and we have it scheduled, we're gonna prioritize that. As soon as I get the tree done, I'm gonna attempt to try to do it myself. As you can see from the code, it's gonna cost me $12,000 to do it. I'm gonna do my best, and if I have any issues, I'll be sure to contact conservation and ask for your help in any way.
Okay, well, the help is you finding somebody to do the planting for you, yeah. Okay, so when do you
I'm
think
gonna
it
try to
might?
do some this fall if I can financially, if not the spring. Whatever is most reasonable.
Okay. So you wanna bear in mind that when we have plantings, there's a survivability percentage that we look for. Trees is 100%, shrubs, 85, 90%, something like that. In the conditions part of it, we will set a number. But that should go into your thinking on planting, because you wanna plant when there's a good time to survive, a good chance to survive, okay? So I guess I need a motion to close this.
I move to close the hearing on 692 Pearl Street.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion.
Michelle, in favor?
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor?
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, now conditions. What conditions do we want to apply?
3-year survivability, is that long enough?
I think that's long enough, yeah.
That's from the planting date.
Yes.
Is there a plant by date that the commission's thinking about?
Well, so Rick was saying some in the fall, some in spring. Those are both reasonable planting times. So, yeah, go
It's a
ahead.
real priority for those wet planted first.
I don't, do you? Matt?
I'd be inclined to put the trees in.
I always prefer trees, so, okay, so trees. So if you're gonna do them in the spring, let's say mid-April would be the date by which you need to have found the time to finish the planting. Tax day. Okay,
I might give them a little more time than that.
It's still gonna be pretty wet in April.
Yeah.
Another month, May 15th.
Yeah.
okay. All right, May 15th.
Yeah, but trees tend to be leafing out by Mother's Day, so you don't wanna be planting them once they're leafed out.
I hope in my experience right now, watering over at Bear Meadow, I'm learning already about gator bags and everything like that, so I'm excited about it, thank you, Joe.
Okay, so May 15th. And if you could do it before then, it's, especially if you do the trees ahead of time,
Is that all the planting?
done planting,
May 15th.
May 15th. Trees and shrubs.
Okay, and I think you're not planning to leave any snags or maybe like the dead number N in the back. Are you leaving that as a snag or are you taking it down to the ground?
I'd like to make room for that.
That's right, okay. So you're not leaving any snags, but you're not digging out the roots either. You're leaving them as stumps.
All this thing.
Okay.
Chuck, do you have any other conditions?
Well, only to say that if the trees die out and you replace them, the cycle starts again, so it's another 3 years. So if the trees or shrubs die and you have to replace them, then it's another 3-year from the plant, from the date of
The clock
planting.
starts again, yeah. Okay. Nothing else? Then can I have
Let's just, before you do that, just go over the conditions. I just have planting, all the plants are in by May 15th, and as per list. No snags. 3-year survivability.
Right. That's all I have. Okay, can I have a motion to issue a negative determination?
I move to issue a negative determination for 692 Pearl Street.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion.
Michelle, in favor?
And Talbot's in favor?
Martha Moore in favor?
Rainbow in favor.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Adam, in all your discussions with Amy, with Janet, did she ever hand out her cell number? I don't have it.
I can look from a past project. I will say that we did retain Janet at the request of the last meeting in case there were comments or open items. She did submit a letter in advance, saying that all comments have been satisfied, stormwater is in compliance with the town, the state. Well, everything was addressed. We paid for her to join for the commission's benefit in case there were any remaining items open, but we did address all comments. We are comfortable proceeding. Again, at this time, there are no open stormwater items. Janet's review agreed and findings, the compliance with the town bylaw. There's no further action.
Yeah, I think I understand you're comfortable. I'm not sure the commission would be comfortable with closing without hearing Janet here at the meeting to answer any questions the commission may have, and also anyone that's in a butter. So it'd be great if you could. I understand there may be an issue getting hold of her tonight, and we could proceed. And you could ask for us to close, but I don't think the commission would issue. I think they would wait until the following meeting. So it would be up to the chair and the commission, but I think we kind of built up to this point where Janet was supposed to be here.
And you,
We're usually not asked to reach out to peer review.
You can
I can try,
Well, it's not your responsibility to do that, but it would help you close. So it's up to you whether you do it or not.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if the minute, the only thing I did want to say, the applicant has worked really hard at this point. Made a significant investment, not only in peer reviews, as well as engineering fees, et cetera. And, we would like to be able to move forward tonight. We respect the commission. It's something we're not able to do, we totally understand. Again, the reason we did request Janet to come to the meeting was if there were any open comments. We were very confident there were minor comments, which we did resubmit. She agreed that we've addressed all of them. There really are no open items at this time.
I understand your position. We would prefer to have Janet here so we can talk to her. If a butters or anybody a chance to ask questions as well, they may not have read the report. So it seems to make sense to have Janet here to give input. If you wanted, we could continue for this meeting and see if she does manage to show. Or we could just cut it here and continue to the next meeting.
We don't wish to continue. Our applicant has worked really hard. We, again.
I understand. I'm just.
The forced witness to be here.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't have to be Janet. Usually we're used to, any representative. So yeah, I will.
I'll call if you don't feel like calling. I've known over the years.
I'll try to. I know our applicant, our project team, they would be very disappointed to have to continue.
Okay, so once you try and make the call, we'll move along, and we can talk again after you've tried to reach her. Let's see. Yeah. So next is 18 Knollwood. I will read the blurb. Open the public hearing on notice of intent filed by Bharat and Anita. Sorry, can you say your name? Can you say your name?
And last name?
Bhatia. Okay, thank you. Pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act and/or the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1, the applicant is proposing demolition of an existing addition and deck and the construction of a new addition and deck for a single-family home. All of the work is within a 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The application plans can be viewed during regular business hours at the Town Hall Conservation Office, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Mass. and on the Conservation Division page, under the project by year, Assessors Map 11, Lot 8, DEP File 270-0801. Jack, go ahead.
Thank you, commission members.
Hi, Jack, I just got a message that people can't hear you at the podium. Not you, but up there, so you gotta talk louder if you can.
Okay, I'll talk loud.
Go for it, Jack.
All right, here we go.
You'll talk loudly.
Loudly. For the record, my name's Jack Sullivan. I'm owner of the Sullivan Engineering Group. The commission stated we were issued a DEP file number for this project 270-0801. Bharat's here with me tonight, the owner. He recently purchased this property. The entire site's within the 100-foot BVW. Karen Environmental performed the wetland delineation. There's wetlands on the northerly side of Knollwood Road, and there's wetlands to the rear of the existing house. In the front yard on this project, they're gonna look to bump out the garage 5 feet, and they're looking to construct a porch 8 by 24 on the front side of the house and a new paver walkway. On the rear of the house is an existing sunroom and deck that will be demolished. Both are in poor condition. The deck's in really bad condition. The existing deck is inside the 35-foot no structure zone to the wetlands, and the existing sunroom is within the 35-foot no structure to the wetlands. As part of this project, there's no trees to be cut. The challenge with this site is access to the backyard. As you come in the driveway, which is on the left of the property, there's only 11 feet between the garage and the property line, and there's a row of arborvitaes in that area, so we wouldn't allow equipment to get around on the left side of the house. So I'm showing a construction access on the front of the house and along the right side of the house. In doing that, the back right corner of the house is only 21 feet from the property line, and it's within the 35-foot structure zone to the wetlands. So the access route is going to be within the 25-foot buffer zone to the wetland. I'm providing a minimum 15 feet between the back right house corner and the erosion control line, just to allow equipment to go in. As part of that, I'm also showing at the end of this project that there should be plantings, and we'll propose native ground cover in that area. I'm showing a red maple, 6 shrubs, and at the rear of the property, I'm showing another red maple to be planted as mitigation. As I started off with, the existing sunroom's within 35 feet. That'll be demolished, and a new addition's going to go in. It's 14 by 28 with a full foundation. That'll be located just outside the 35-foot no structure zone, so therefore the new addition will comply with your 35-foot setback. For the deck, I'm proposing a smaller deck than what exists now, so we'll be increasing the distance to the setback to the wetlands. It'll be 8.5 feet by 14 feet. It'll be 28 feet from the wetlands. So it's within your 35-foot zone. It's further away than the existing deck. Below the deck, the owner agreed to putting in like crushed stone, so it'll be a pervious material, at least under the deck, and it improves the existing situation. There is a walkway that runs along the back of the sunroom as well. That walkway will be removed and that area will be planted. I am showing a 12-inch diameter mulch sock as the limit of work line. That's the real dark dash line up along the front. There is a 26-inch tree. It's a really nice beech tree in the front yard. We show the erosion control to go on the upland side of that, so on the access route. Talking with the contractor, we're also going to put plywood down in that area just to protect the root system to that tree. It's a really nice tree, so we want to protect that as much as possible. I think that completes my presentation. I'll turn it over to the commission for any questions they might have.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Martha?
Okay, nobody else has any start off?
So I'm on the Reading website. I see the wetland in front of the house across the street, but I didn't see it in the back. Was that discovered during the wetland determination?
Actually, Jack, why don't you speak to that since we
Sorry.
asked you today?
They asked me, okay, so I had a sidewalk today, Martha and Brian were at the sidewalk, they said, how did you know there was a wetland? Because on the GIS map, there's no wetland. The owner purchased this 2 days before closing, he called me before he bought it, 2 days before, and said, I'd like you to do a survey. I said, you know there's wetlands in the back? He goes, no, and when I checked out the town maps. But around 2011, Anthony's Roast Beef, that strip plaza, they had removed some trees in the back, they received a violation notice. I did the survey work and the restoration work on that, so I knew there were wetlands off-site. He still went forward with the purchase, but that's how we knew there were wetlands.
So inside baseball.
Yeah, so, also the town's GIS is just a data point,
Right.
not considered accurate, and certainly wouldn't override a PWS's wetland line, something that the Conservation Commission approved.
Eric?
Yeah, at the site visit today, we looked at the wetland flags and the ones that were within 35 feet of the proposed house or near 35 feet, and they do seem to be accurate in the field. And I would have asked for some mitigation of tree planting and shrubs and ground cover, and they are proposing that already. Something else I noticed on our site visit on the Main Street side of the property, very close to the property line, there's a red maple, and there's a very small clump of Japanese knotweed at the base of that red maple. And I'd like to make removing that knotweed part of the conditions of this project. It's small enough that it should be possible to eradicate that knotweed and not have invasive plant taking over that space. There is also a small amount of bittersweet near flag A15, which I recommend that they also try to keep that from expanding, and just be careful because there's poison ivy in among that bittersweet. So you want to be careful how you remove it. And I think I recommend hand pulling for all of that. But I know, Chuck, there are rules if they are not going to hand pull that they would need to get permission for licensed applicators to do that.
They would actually need a permit.
Yeah, so they'd need a permit if they were not gonna just hand pull.
Right.
Okay, I think both of those are small enough that they could be controlled with hand pulling. Okay. We did notice the trunk in the back left that's labeled 30 inches has some damage to the trunk. So I just wanna have that noted as pre-existing condition and not something that might later be attributed to the construction. Those were my comments.
Okay.
You have some?
Let me add to the 30-inch tree, we also noticed there were a number of bare branches near the top. So all in all, it's a tree worth monitoring, and it's noted that any damage wouldn't have been caused by construction. Jack, can you talk about what you're doing to protect the tree in the front, the one labeled 26 inches?
Yeah, so on the house side of that tree, we'll have the erosion control, the 12-inch mulch stock. But we'll also be laying plywood down along that construction route in the area, the drip line of the tree. Just so that when machines go in, trees, no potential damage to roots. We didn't see exposed roots when we were out there, but we don't want heavy equipment going over that, possibly damaging the roots, so we think the plywood's a good idea.
So you're gonna protect the trunk and put down the plywood for the roots.
Correct.
Okay. Let's see, we did note, some yard waste. I did go back and look and I couldn't determine if it was on your property or not. So at this point, I'm not gonna ask you to clean it up, just gonna tell you don't add to it. But there's a few areas of grass clippings and there's some brush piles further in the back. So that shouldn't get that shouldn't get added to at all. That's all I had. Anybody in the commission have anything before I give it to Chuck? Chuck, do you have any comments?
Sure. So it looks like you're going to be, your construction access is pretty long, and you're gonna be compacting the soil in that area. Do you have a plan to loosen that soil back up?
We can, I didn't give it too much thought, Chuck, but yeah, we could. I mean, they may have to till that area and then,
Is it lawn there now?
it's lawn there now.
Everywhere. So the only place I'm really concerned about is the 25-foot area where you're gonna plant 2 trees. So if you compact that area, it might be an issue.
Yeah, it's all lawn. You can see the tree lines basically right along, it's hard to see, it's a squiggly line, but the tree line runs basically right along the lot line.
So he's talking about the back right.
Yep, the back right.
Okay, the back right, where you're gonna do the planting, I believe that's the mossy area that we saw.
Yeah, mossy.
So not lawn per se, but mossy,
It was very mossy.
but it's disturbed.
So we could add some, I'm not even sure if plywood's gonna do it, but plywood in that area. So this is, that's a couple of pieces of plywood, for sure. And then the condition about making sure that it's not compacted. And then the tree protection, we're really protecting not only the trunk, but the roots also, but you're driving right past. Why are you on past the house that way? They can't take things from the street and bring it in?
Yeah, I figured we could use the existing driveway. And then there's a post and rail fence along the front, and there's some landscaping along that fence line too, so it would be hard to come in along the right lot line. And they're already doing some work with the porches, so that'll be disturbed and an access point, so it makes sense to have that as the access point.
All right. Yeah, it's just a 25-foot area and tree protection. So we're gonna put a tree protection comment in the order of conditions.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then compacting comment too. That's all I had for this project.
Okay.
Do we have stockpile areas for materials and for soil? I didn't notice them.
I was gonna talk on that, I should have said that in my introduction. There'll be no soil stockpilings. I went through that with the builder after our site walk today, there's no room for it. Everything will have to be taken off site. He said he typically does that anyway, so after he does his demo in the back and he goes to dig, that material will be removed, clean material will come in for the backfill of the new building.
And what about where he will stockpile the lumber for building the deck and porch or whatever?
You know what? He's on this Zoom call. Maybe he could answer that. Do you see Vincent out there, Chuck?
So Vincent, can you raise your hand so Chuck can see you? Find the reactions option on the lower right and hit the raise hand.
There he is.
I can stop talking now. Maybe.
Hey, good evening.
So can you answer that question about the stockpile for the materials you're gonna use to build with?
Yeah, so we'll use the driveway to stockpile material and bring it back to to use for the addition or the deck as needed while we're building that.
Okay,
Any other questions, Commission, before I move on?
Just one quick question. So the existing walkway that's being removed, is there like any anticipated fill or how is that?
No fill.
Front and back, there's something being taken out.
Okay.
Okay, any comments from the public? Any comments online?
You're asking me, no one has raised their hand for this project. I'm
Okay.
sorry that I was doing two things at once.
Okay.
So what I would just like to follow up that I'm not really satisfied with plywood covering the roots, and that gonna ask the commission to allow me to talk to Jack and work something out that might be more permanent for the length of this project, so the plywood doesn't degrade over the course of time being out there and whatnot. I mean, I've not only have I looked this up, but I had some experience down next to one of our parks where there was some plywood out there. It just turned into mulch in a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was chewed up by the machinery. I'm suspecting that you're gonna bring something pretty big back there to start digging.
If you have ideas, Chuck, that you want us to use, it's fine. I talked to the owner. When we get this approval and the appeal period's up, they're set to pull a building permit. They wanna get the demo and the foundation, placing it this weather tight before the winter. And then at that point, it just becomes inside work. So this access route should be,
Right, but if it really can happen in a couple of weeks, that Chuck has said, at the very least, it makes sense for you guys to put your head together.
Yeah.
And be sure you have something that's satisfactory.
I'll work with Chuck on that.
Then can I have a motion to close this hearing?
did you get public comment?
I did.
Okay. I move to close the hearing on 18 Norwood Road.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Tim Shaw in favor?
Rick Keel in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor?
Ryan Bowe in favor. Okay, what conditions we have? We have whatever comes out of the tree protection.
Yeah, the tree protection, we're gonna amend the compacted soil so it can
Thrive.
survive, yeah. Crushed stone underneath the deck, tree protection. There's a comment about Japanese knotweed and bittersweet to be hand pulled. How long? You want it eradicated? You want an update?
That would be ideal, let's say 3 years. Spend 3 years and see how it goes.
All right, so on the occupancy permit, I should look for work, and then check it out in a couple of years, okay. All right, that's what I have.
Anybody have any other conditions that we missed? No. Okay, then can I have, let's see. Can I have a motion to issue order of conditions for 18 Norwood?
I move to issue an order of conditions for 18 Norwood Road.
Walter Talbot seconds that.
Tim Shaw in favor?
Rick Keel in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Ryan Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Right, so Janet's here.
Okay. So let's go back to 885 Main Street. I will read the blurb. I don't think I did that. This is a continuation of the public hearing on a notice of intent filed by Primrose School Franchising Company pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Chapter 40, the Wetlands Protection Act and the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1, The applicant proposes construction of a two-story childcare facility and associated structures consisting of a paved parking lot, walkways, retaining wall, play yard, and stormwater infrastructure. Portions of the work are within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The application and plans can be viewed during regular business hours at the Town Hall Conservation Office, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, and on the Conservation Division page under project by year, Assessors Map 28, Lot 133, DEP File 270-0796. Okay.
All right, perfect. Well, we're excited to be back. Thank you, Janet, for joining us. We're gonna try to make it quick. We know this board has a busy agenda, but we understand that things tend not to move quick on bigger applications, but kind of an update with what we're
Excuse me,
doing.
can you introduce yourself?
Yes,
Okay.
Joshua Klein, partner, licensed engineer with Snowfield.
Thank you.
So kind of the keys being, we tried to kind of highlight this in our resubmission to make it really easy for the commission. 4 key items. Stormwater peer review was completed. We've addressed all the comments, no open items. I think the key that we can take away from that is there's gonna be no adverse impact to any neighbors. Sides, back, the street, from a stormwater perspective, there's gonna be no adverse impact on the wetland. Comply with the town bylaw and comply with both local and state requirements. The other items kind of beyond the peer review requirements. There was a water quality unit requested to kind of help provide enhanced treatment, as well as help with the potential for a spill that was added to the plans. There was some discussions by an attorney that was hired by one of the abutting neighbors objecting to the project regarding the test pits, and that's a layer of topsoil. Very common in areas where you have houses built that there's fill on top of kind of the native soil. So that layer of topsoil that was observed, the stormwater basins we're proposing are below it, so it won't have any impact on the design. And then the last item was to kind of add a few additional items to the operations and maintenance plan, which we've done so. So, we appreciate the commission's time, the peer review, kind of all the effort that's gone into this. And we kind of hope to kind of conclude this meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions from the commission? Chuck, do you have something you want to say?
Well, there was a couple comments that we got from abutters, but I know that we have people here that are gonna talk about that. I was prepared to speak if no one brought up what they called me about, but I think it will be covered. If not, I'll talk. So we should go back to the commission after that. So I did talk to Janet about the review and about this project, the stormwater, and I'm comfortable with the discussion between the applicant and our peer reviewer from Horsley Witten, Janet Bernardo. So, with that said, I don't have any more comments about the project, but would like to hear from the abutters.
Sure, I think that's where we go next. Can we hear from,
And I got a late email. I believe this person is here, Denise Murphy, but I got a late email and I sent it to the chairs. So it's up to you whether you want to read it or not.
is Ms. Murphy here?
She is.
Okay, so when you get to your chance to speak, you can cover whatever you have in the email. So having said that, are there comments from the public in the room?
Yeah, I think Denise has her hand up,
No,
so I'm just
sorry,
going
I'll start
to,
here first, but- Okay, now we can go online.
there you go.
Are you there, Denise?
Yeah, should be able to unmute.
Okay, can you unmute, introduce yourself and state your comments?
Yes, good evening, Dennis Murphy. I represent Ms. McKenna, who lives in the property that you see on the screen on Duck Road. This is the first time that any plan in this project has shown that house. It's also the first time that we've had contours on the drainage plan, which I appreciate. And you can't see the contours on this plan, but they tend to flow toward the west, toward the McKenna property. And the BVW site is in the northwest corner, and there's a vernal pool in the southwest corner. So for the McKenna property, stormwater runoff is a major concern. And the one thing I think that has been omitted from the discussion is under your local wetland regulations, there are very specific criteria for stormwater. In particular, section 3N prohibits any stormwater runoff off the site to adjacent properties. And they have to be mitigated by on-site controls, and they can't alter the direction of flow. And as I sit here right now, you can't see it very clearly, and I don't have a way to point it. If you look at the trees to the north of the play area, you'll see two gray boxes that are, yep, that's one, and that's the other, thank you. Those are scour holes that are shown on sheet C6, the stormwater management plan, and they are right up against your 35-foot natural vegetated buffer zone. They can't go in it. You're not allowed to discharge into it. And so one of my questions is whether or not anyone has evaluated the stormwater discharge from those locations, whether or not those are in fact retention or detention function in the stormwater, and whether or not they comply in particular with that section 3N and 3O of the local regulations. So I don't think that we had sufficient detail on plans before because we didn't have contours, we didn't have the abutting house, we didn't have the vernal pool boundary, which you can see is very faint on this map. So the concern of Ms. McKenna is that her property is down gradient from this entire site. So the water naturally flows toward it. And it already has significant water challenges with BVW to the north and vernal pool to the south. And we just want assurance that this stormwater system has been designed in full compliance with the regulations so that there won't be any flooding off the site to the McKenna property.
Okay,
Thanks for the chance to make the comment.
You want to answer that?
Yeah, I'm happy to address. So, you know, the cover sheet has always shown an aerial of all the homes around that site. Definitely not the first time, but I do understand it was in the Worsley's Witten letter, so we wanted to kind of provide this aerial. Contours have always been shown. They've been shown on the grading plan, they've been shown on the drainage area maps. The vernal pool, that was all part of the submission that was done before the last meeting. So none of this is new information. Worsley Witten reviews your local bylaws. We review your local bylaws, kind of ensure we comply. You know, the shower holes, the design of the system, none of this is directed towards the neighbor. Everything is directed to the wetland, it complies with the local bylaw, and it won't have an adverse impact. And I think that this aerial image kind of helps, hopefully. You know, there's a microphone. I think Mr. Murphy was kind of insinuating that the low point is the home, but the home or the property really isn't the low point. I've walked the site. I don't know if Mr. Murphy has walked the site or the wetland area. The low point actually continues further north. So the home itself is not a low point. Again, you see kind of some of these elevations kind of cross over. So again, we're very confident. There was a peer review done by Worsley Witten that agreed kind of with our findings and will not have an adverse impact to me.
Hang on a second, hang on.
Okay.
You have to wait your turn. Okay, actually, Janet, do you want to speak to that?
Sure, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any way, and if fine if it is not, but any way that drawing C-6 can be shown on the screen?
Yep, Chuck's working on it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it does show the contours And the area that's, I want to make sure I'm saying north. So it's plan north is north, which helps think about it a little bit. But so this property on Duck Road is to the west, and the wetland is basically to the north and the northwest of the property. And the contours on the southern half of the property that's closest to Duck Road, under existing conditions, it does kind of sheet flow in that direction. But under proposed conditions, where they put the playground, they will be altering those contours because they're raising the playground and having it kind of flat. So it's a smaller area is actually now going to flow in that direction. So the applicant has actually reduced the stormwater that is directed towards the west has been reduced. And the two scour pools are going towards the wetland. The contours in the area that are the natural contours will direct the runoff. The one further to the southwest is the underdrain system for the playground, which will have relatively minimal flow. And the other one is the outlet to the large infiltration system that's under the playground that is taking most of the runoff. And that is retaining the 2 and the 10-year storm events and reducing the other storm events. So there is still flow because there's still existing surface area that's not part of the building or the parking lot that is going towards that wetland, but they're not increasing the runoff in that direction at all. That is one of the criteria that they have to kind of prove that they are maintaining under, they cannot increase over existing conditions or proposed conditions. So their calculations do provide documentation for that. And you can see on this plan, if you look at the bottom right of the plan, is there a way to either zoom in or pull it up? Oh, that's not the same plan.
Yeah, that's an older version.
That's an old version, yeah.
The newer version.
Yeah, so that's chilly change. That is not directed towards the west anymore. That scour pool is going towards the north. It's in the west corner, but it's going towards the north, directly towards the wetland, and with the contours kind of flowing directly north. And the side of the property that is still being maintained with its trees and vegetation that will not be changing the grade, but there's a small section adjacent to the playground that will be regraded, and that is kind of directing runoff towards the north with a small swale. Either the playground itself is going to be like kind of a flat surface with underdrains directing any runoff towards the north, or right adjacent to that playground, there's a slight swale that will also direct. Yes.
Is this the correct plan?
I don't know. It's clear for anybody looking at that. So the playground, so under existing conditions, you can see there's several contours that are kind of directing water flows perpendicular to those contour lines, and it's flowing towards the northwest. But under proposed conditions, they've kind of contained it a little bit more with the playground and directing any under the underdrains directly to the north. And then that little swale on the right-hand side of the playground wall is a small swale with the regrading. Yep, go right down with your cursor. Yep, that area, that's kind of directing the runoff towards the larger wetland system. So there should be no increase towards the Duck Road property.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yep, appreciate it. Okay. Are there any other comments from the audience here? Or are there any comments from here? No. Any more online?
Use your hand, raise hand function. Let us know if you have a comment online. Gentleman in the back had a comment. No one online.
Do you want to come up and introduce yourself, please?
My name is Steve Maffioni, I live on Duck Road, 31 Duck Road, I've been here since, we've been here since 1993, in Reading since 1975. This commission tonight made me more aware of how much we consider trees and wetlands. And I just don't understand how the town of Reading can consider this project, and they're gonna cut down, to be conservative, 50 to 100 trees. I just can't see this ever passing. I have one question. This has been the teacher, the school department here, will there be any blasting in the area?
Excuse me, if you can, direct
Oh,
comments
sorry.
my way.
Will there be any blasting in the area for this project? I know at 35 Duck Road, when they built it, the fourth house, they had a blast. It was all ledge.
Okay.
We can't even dig down 1 foot before we hit ledge or rock. I just want to know, yes or no answer, will there be any blasting at all?
Okay, do you want to go up and,
Any additional questions? I can do them all at once.
let me do one at a time, just work our way through it. You can just stay in the area.
Excuse me. We don't anticipate any blasting. We did dig, I think 4 or 5 test holes. We went down 10 feet and had no signs of ledge.
Thank you.
Okay, I would like the commission to make note of that, if they do have to blast during this project.
It's in the record. So noted.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Sir, in the back, you had a question during a previous part of the conversation. You still have it? I want to give you fine. I just want to see your lid on the TV, that's all. Okay, any other questions either in the room or online? I don't think so. Do you want to come back to you?
Yeah, I think a question came up. I mean, how many, so let's talk about the trees. How many trees within the 100-foot buffer zone came down, and did you meet our tree replacement policy?
Yeah, I went through it in detail at the last meeting, but we meet the tree ordinance.
Do you have a number on how many trees have come down in the 100-foot buffer?
Yeah, you don't go through the details.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
sum it up.
No, if I'm asked, I have to pull up the real numbers. So again, on the plans, let's see, within the tree replacement requirements are on the sheet C3. There are 28 deciduous trees being removed and 4 evergreen. A total of 32 trees are being removed within the 100-foot buffer.
And the replacements are all within the 100-foot buffer for those trees?
They're highlighted on a landscape plan. They're bolded to make it very clear.
Are they all trees, or did you have to use shrubs?
You can pull up the landscape plan. So C10, all of the replacement plantings, which are highlighted in red, were trees. So a mixture of deciduous and evergreen across the site. And I know this was asked at the last meeting that everything is native. It's C10.
I have that right.
And I think I asked at that last meeting about the red pine. Is this the project that had a red pine planned?
No, we don't have a red pine.
I remember you asking, but I don't think
I
it
don't
was this one.
remember which
Yeah, it
project it
wasn't.
was.
I don't recall that at the
I
last
think
meeting.
that was Free Cal.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So no other questions or comments? Can I have a motion to close the hearing on 85 Main Street, please?
So move to close the hearing on 885 Main Street.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion.
Tim Shaw in favor?
Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, what conditions do we have?
Oh. I didn't hear any conditions during tonight's conversation
No, I didn't either.
Do you have any recommendations, Chuck?
for conditions. I do, I'd like to hear from the commission first, but,
Well, I'm gonna start with survivability of all the plants,
Right. And 3 years.
3-year survivability. Sure.
Well, so 100% on the trees and 90% on the shrubs.
Sure. And previous meeting, we talked about snow storage. If that's already in their plan, do we also have to list that as a condition now?
It's part of the plan. I think everything was in there. I can't think of any other external conditions.
I'm gonna ask, the stormwater, reports, I believe that they're going to be requested quarterly for the first couple of years. And then, with a request, you can decrease the amount of times you have to, report. I just want, to, not only the engineering department, I'd like the Conservation Commission to get those reports.
That's no problem. And while we're on that, I know Janet did have some recommendation in her letter that we agreed to, like recording the O&M, so we have no objection to anything that we saw.
Okay. So having said that, can I have a motion to issue an order?
So let's do a no salt, we have a condition about, salt and fertilizer.
For the parking lot?
Yeah, for the parking lot and the fertilizer for the grounds around.
Okay. I
So
like that.
at least within the 100-foot buffer zone. And that's about all I can think of.
So now kind of a motion to issue order of conditions for 885 Main Street.
I move to issue an order of conditions for 885 Main Street.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Tim Shaw in favor?
Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor.
Can we also have a issue or issuing the stormwater permit? Is new to this commission, but we should at least mention that also.
Okay. So that's a separate motion and vote?
I'm gonna do it that way, just because it's our first time, maybe it's combined, but we'll
Fair
at
enough.
least be accurate.
So can I have a motion to issue a stormwater permit for 885 Main Street?
So moved.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Tim Shaw in favor?
Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for all the work.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Janet. Thanks for.
Thank you, Janet. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you. Sorry that I was late. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're on doc, you pay for it.
All right, here we go.
Okay. So moving forward to the next one is 1503 Main Street. I will read the blurb. Actually, I'm gonna wait a couple minutes for our audience to thin out. Okay. Open public hearing on the request for determination of applicability, RDA, filed by Jared Alphacob pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act and or the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1. The applicant proposes removing an existing deck and constructing an 11.7 inch by 15-foot screen porch and 11-foot 7-inch wide unscreened deck wrapping around the east and north sides of an existing garage on a single-family home. Work includes the installation of approximately 16 to 18 new footings and a modification of existing stairs. Portions of the work are within the 100-foot buffer zone. No activity is proposed within the 25-foot no disturb zone. The application plans can be viewed during regular business hours at the Town Hall Conservation Office, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, and on the Conservation Division page under the project by year. Assessors map Assessors map 60, lot 11, Reading, file number 2025-13. Garrett, are you in the house?
Good evening, I'm present. I'm not able to turn on my video. It says the meeting host has to do so. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, do you want to walk us through your project?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and start. Let me see if I'm able to share my screen. I think that starting with a picture might be helpful. So are you able to see my sharing?
Yes, we can.
All right, excellent. Yeah, so I've gone ahead and created an image, and just to walk through, so I started with the stamped as-built site plan, which is on file with the town, which was produced by a professional surveyor. This is a zoom in of that image, which shows the smaller area directly around my house. And this is also the current conditions with the exception of the silt socks. The silt socks are depicted on this plan, that they were removed, in fact, a few years ago. Since this plan was produced, we've also installed permanent granite bounds on the 25-foot limit of natural vegetation. And so this is an image which indicates the proposed deck to be built in blue here. And so it will consist of a roofed deck, which is approximately 12 by 12, or I think I put in 11'7", but approximately 12 by 12, and then an additional portion which will wrap around the house, coming, at its closest points to the wetland. We measure the distances from this granite bound at variously 26 feet to one corner or 25 feet to another corner, depending on which corner you're looking at. And all of these portions of the deck to be constructed will be outside of the 35-foot zone, and all work will take place outside of the 25-foot zone. If it's helpful, I can also go and talk a little bit through some of the materials that I put in the RDA. And so again, part of the narrative that I put forward in the RDA will involve the following steps. So removing the decking from the existing small deck. We will try to retain the current framing and the footings, assuming they're in good condition. It was constructed relatively recently, so we're hopeful this will be the case. We'll construct a new deck with the following dimensions, which are described here, but again, I think that the picture kind of gave you a better sense of that. Some additional notes that I provided was that no construction activities to take place within the 25-foot zone. We'll make sure that this boundary is clearly marked. It's already the limit of vegetation from the lawn, so it's clear, but we'll make sure that it's marked when the construction contractors are present. We intend to stockpile the construction materials on the driveway so as not to impact the lawn or to provide any interference with the wetland. And if we see any incidents of erosion, say from grass being damaged, we'll be sure to address this with silt socks. Provide an estimate of the number of footings to be poured 4 feet below grade. This excavated material will be disposed of. If there's any stockpiling that's necessary on a temporary basis, it would be on the driveway. The materials would be pressure treated wood. The deck and trim would be composite materials. And then following this project, I would be planning to reseed the lawn just to ensure that it continues at its full I think that was all the materials that I submitted. I've had the pleasure of speaking to some of you on your site visits, and so some of the things that, I understand we'll need to keep in mind are, again, the soil storage, making sure that erosion control is present if necessary or is put into place if there's any signs of erosion. So I stop it there if there are any questions or discussion.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions from the commission?
Garrett, I didn't see a property. To me, and I'm gonna listen to the Conservation Commission here and Chuck's recommendations. To me, it's outside the 35-foot buffer. It sounds good. You sounds like you have the erosion control with the materials in the driveway, but I'm gonna defer right now to the commission because I want to hear their thoughts on your site and their site visit as well.
Comments, questions?
Okay.
I was impressed. He's been through this before with us, so he knew exactly what answers to give us, what distances to discuss, so I'm okay.
Same, we confirmed those measurements for the granite bound from the new deck stair while we were out for our site visit, and there were no concerns there. It was right on the money.
All right, I believe that there are no trees to be cut in the process of this project, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and when I was out there, we talked about the part that's the screen porch. It's described as a screen porch in your narrative. You said to me you might actually make it a 3-season porch. I don't know that that affects my decision, but I think it would be important to have it accurate. What's your plan at this point?
Yep, thanks for pointing that out. So the plan is to install, have the ability to install double hung windows. So double hung windows will be installed, and then the screens will be kind of in place, year round, and then we might install the window glasses as well, on the shoulder seasons.
Okay, and my other concern was the new deck that's next to the screen porch part is over quite a steep slope. And I was concerned when you build the deck, the grass that's now holding that slope in place won't get enough sunlight. What do you have for plans to keep erosion from happening under that sloped part of the deck?
Yeah, we're planning to put in crushed stone underneath all of the deck. And so this would include the sloped area as well. We might try to level out, the bottom area that's already close to level to make that kind of, a flattened area. But again, the plan is crushed stone or larger stones maybe if necessary to retain the slope well.
Chuck, what's your sense of whether crushed stone is adequate to maintain that hillside?
Oh, the crushed stone should do well underneath the deck. So yeah, I don't think the hill is that much, anyways.
Okay.
It should do fine.
Okay. And you said the material stockpile and construction entrance is through the driveway, on the driveway for material stockpile, construction entrance through the driveway. So you'll need to leave room when you're putting down the material for the trucks to get past the material. It could be a little snug there. And you say you could put down erosion control if necessary. And I know you don't want to kill the grass that's growing in the lawn there by putting too much erosion control down, but I kind of like the idea of having something around the part of the project that's closest to the wetland line. And again, I would ask Chuck what he thinks, whether that's necessary or I'm being overly cautious.
How much topsoil, you're gonna remove the topsoil before you put down the crushed stone? Or is it going on top of whatever, the existing lawn underneath the deck?
To be honest, we hadn't addressed that detail in our planning. It would probably be sensible to remove at least the top layer of sod prior to replacing it with crushed stone. But I'm open to recommendations from the commission on the best way to do that in a low impact way.
Well, if you're going to be excavating the sod, I would suggest that you put in erosion control. If you weren't, it was just sonotubes, it wouldn't matter to me, but I think you just, you only need it on the new deck that's runs parallel with the wetland, so along that area. And you can use like straw wattle.
Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine that'll be too difficult to add on, so happy to accept that as a condition.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I saw.
Okay, anybody else in the commission? I only have one point. Typically, when we have a new roof, we look for infiltration of the runoff into the ground. So some kind of a underground storage container being fed by downspouts from your roof. That's not on your plan, so we need you to plan that in, design that in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know enough to do it yourself or to reach out and ask somebody for the best way to do that in the best place to put that kind of a system. Perhaps Chuck will comment in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the only comment that I had. So having said that, Chuck, any comments you have?
Yeah, I suggest you reach out to the engineering department and see if the infiltration system that has been installed can manage the additional runoff. And then you could possibly just route the rooftop into that. If not, we typically like to see drip irrigation or drip trenches, like 2 foot by 2 foot at the drip line of the roof, or a more formal method would be to just bury a infiltration chamber and direct all the rooftop gutters into that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I
Thanks
need
for
the
that,
answer
guys.
to that, though.
So he will do it, so we could close.
So what if he's can't add it to the existing system because it can't handle the capacity?
Right.
So he has to excavate and put something else in
Or he
place.
could back off and do the drip trench and not have to infiltrate.
But we don't know what he's gonna do. If he's digging, and he might have to. And
Okay.
where's that gonna go?
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So should we continue to?
Yeah, I think that's a big enough point that we should continue until you can get your answer from engineering. And then update your plan / narrative, just so we'll have the right thing to approve. That make sense?
Okay,
Okay,
that does make sense.
good. Then is there anything else before we entertain a motion to continue? Any other comments? Have a motion to continue 1503 Main Street to next meeting. That work? 2 weeks?
Yes,
Yeah,
that'd be good.
it does work because our town engineer returns next week. So
Okay, good. So it does work.
he'll have to ask Ryan that question, so.
So, and worst case, if it doesn't happen, we could continue again, although let's make it as soon as possible to try and get you away and go on your project. So can I have a motion to continue to August 27th?
I move to continue 1503 Main Street to August 27th.
Walter Talbot seconds that.
Tim Michelle in favor?
Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you, Garrett.
I think Garrett,
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good day. Thanks.
Okay, 50 Longfellow. I will read the blurb. Open the public hearing on a request for determination of applicability RDA filed by Ian Moss and Jana Stafford pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act and or the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1. The applicant proposes landscaping that includes installation of dry laid stone steps, a boulder retaining wall, and a permeable gravel patio. Native vegetation will be planted for habitat screening and slope stabilization. An old shed and debris on town property will be removed. All the work is within a 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland and intermittent stream. The application and plans can be viewed during regular business hours at the Town Hall Conservation Office, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Mass, and on Conservation Division page on their project by year. Assessors map 27, lot 285, Reading, file number 2025-11. Okay,
All right.
can you
well,
introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Ian Moss. I'm the homeowner. I don't do this for a living. I build underwater robots, so you'll have to yeah, and I'm also with Demetra Gardens by Demetra. She's helping us on this program. So I have some hard copies that I'm happy if you'd like to pass them around in case it helps. But yeah, so I'm the homeowner. We've been at this house now for about 13 years, been in Reading for 25 years. Just a little bit of context as to what this is. This lot is heavily sloped down to an intermittent stream that's at the back of the property. What we'd like to do is just do a little bit of natural landscaping. I don't want to do any sort of golf course or very artificial looking. We just want to try and bring the sort of the stream and the woodland around us in and make it more of a feature of the house. The key things that we'd like to do here, and Demetra will bootstrap me, I think, and give a little bit more background, is a fieldstone wall or a boulder wall. That will allow us, and most of that wall is in this side, the right side of the 30-foot line. There is a little bit of overlap into the 35 to 25. There is nothing in the 25-foot zone at all. What that boulder or fieldstone, I'd really like it to be a fieldstone wall. What that fieldstone wall will allow us to do is bring a little bit of clean loam in and level the lot a little bit so that we can actually use this. Right now, it's very difficult to even walk on it because it's so steep. So the key things really would be building this fieldstone wall, bringing in some loam to allow us, we'll never get it level given the slope, but it will allow it to be a little bit more usable. It would allow us to put in a small gravel patio by the shed, which we've just installed, which we got the permit for. That would be a pea stone. It would be fairly small. It would just be, for a couple of chairs and a bistro type table, and then a little bit of grass. And then coming down on the left side of the property right now, you risk your life every time you go down there, frankly, because it's so steep. We would put in fieldstone steps. Everything would be natural stone. There'd be no mortar on any of this. It's all going to be natural stone. But that would allow you to get down to the back of the property. Right now, we can't really use that property because it's so steep. So there would be the wall, there would be the pea stone, there would be the loam and the steps. And then to the left of the property is woodland, it's townland. What we'd like to do is try to transition into there. We'd put some native perennials like you've done down in Birch Meadow there with the pollinators. We really like the nature that keeps coming out of there. So we want to obviously be in harmony with that. So we thought we'd put pollinators down that side and then some natural native plantings in this area. I think the key thing that we're asking here is with respect to this wall, especially given that it does, about 40% of it does go into the 35 foot, none of it into the 25, but you can see it does just kick in there into the 35 to the 25. So that's it in a nutshell. Dimitra, do you want to add anything? Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Can everyone hear me?
Dimitra, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi, I'm Dimitra Tsekris. I'm Gardens by Dimitra, and I'm working with Jana and Ian on this project.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And all I would like to add is that there is planting that we would like to be able to do. Everything is a native and will be species. So basically, this project is to be able to use and enjoy the backyard, and also to create more biodiversity, more habitat, a living landscape. So that's what I've designed for.
Yeah, we have, just to close out on that, we have a lot of wildlife back there. We've got a lot of woodchucks, obviously a lot of birds. We've got coyotes going through there. We've got some foxes. We really like it. They kind of come down from the woodland. They take that intermittent stream all the way down into Birch Meadow. So we don't want to do anything that interrupts with that. We just want to, make it a feature of the property right now. It's just mown grass. And like I say, it's a bit of a death trap every time we try and go back there. And finally, we've got a bit of money that we could do this. So that's why we're here in front of you. So, any questions or any recommendations, that's what I'd love to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, sorry, may I just add one other thing?
Go ahead.
There is, prior to the arrival of my clients at this property, there is an existing shed that actually belongs on the property next to it, which belongs to the town. It's just a terrible place for a shed. So my clients are going to remove that. That's a mitigation. And there is like a pile of logs. If you went to the site visit, you've seen all of that. So
yes.
Probably all this.
So we'll remove those. With the logs, we'll obviously leave the base layer. It is natural wood. It's not treated wood in any way. So we'll leave the base layer in case there's any critters underneath it. The groundhog will have to vacate the shed, but I'm sure he'll find somewhere else to go.
Yeah, in your house.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
The boulder wall.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Walter, go ahead.
Yeah, I hate to be overly technical, but on your plot plan, I don't see any 25-foot or 35-foot lines. Where do they exist?
Maybe can I show you on the paper that maybe I can work to the screen here. So here's the 25-foot. So the intermittent stream is basically over here. Here's the 25-foot line.
I'm looking at the online.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
But maybe I can show you on the, as you're looking, you've got the 25-foot.
I'm good.
And you can see that obviously most of the wall is this side of the 35. There is just that small snag that runs into between the 35. Nothing is in the 25.
So Walter, you didn't miss it. I anticipated this coming up because Brian and Martha did site visit notes. And so I went back to Dimitra and said, we're gonna need to put these lines in here. So I worked with them to make these as accurate as possible. So I think that what we're looking at is pretty accurate based on some compass and tape measurement from the applicant and just a GIS starting point for myself.
Thank you. Yes, I was out there most of the afternoon with a tape measure, so.
That's right.
So it's as accurate as an underwater robotics expert can make.
Yes,
exactly. Yes.
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 Whatever that's worth.
Yes.
Anything else, Walter?
Well, the fact that you're doing plantings within the 25-foot, and construction within the 25 to 35 is something, I guess, we're open for discussion on.
Go ahead and discuss. What's your thoughts?
Is there some way to move that stone wall
So
back behind the 35-foot line?
we could, the problem with that is it turns that piece of lawn, that piece wouldn't be lawn, it would be more grass. It would be so narrow that it's almost not worth doing at that point. So that's the problem with bringing it this side of the 35, because the 35 comes quite close to the house. It would be very low in that area, and obviously the most of the wall, and you can see if we put some steps in, they're all within this side of the 35. The problem with bringing it on the 25 contour, if that's the right word, is it just makes it so narrow that it divides up the land. It makes it look very postage stampish.
And so there was an email sent out which had a variance explanation, although we don't use variance terminology with the RDAs, but kind of just used it as a template, and it was put together by Demetra. I don't know if you reviewed that, Walter. I can put it up on the screen if we want to. Okay, so they felt like they met most of the criteria easily because this is a landscaping project.
And then I'm not familiar with this part of Reading's rules, but you're building a walkway. Doesn't that have to get approval from the building department?
I was told not.
No.
It's not a walkway per se, it's just natural stone rises, but.
The thing is, you're going down a slope.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it's got to have, you just can't put stones in the ground. At least when I tried to do that at another town, I wasn't allowed to do that.
We will certainly, as a condition, we will confirm what we need to do. If there's a minor permit or as a permit requirement, we'll go for whatever's needed.
It's not really pertinent to this discussion, but I just want to share my own.
I will take it up. I will take it up and check in with I presume it's Kim, but the building department, whatever it is. Yeah, so that's it. There's no trees coming down. There is a tree on the town land that's in risk of taking out the deck on the back of the house. So we've asked if that could be cut down to become a snag. We'll leave it because it's full of birds, but we'll just cut it down so that it's a snag. But there's no other trees coming down. Right now, this is just mown grass, so it's really no change. It would just make it much more usable, and I think, frankly, a lot more of an attractive space. Right now, I'd say I've been there 13 years, and we just don't use this backyard.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? Comments? Martha?
Yeah. Did they finish your roof?
They are doing the roof right now. They got the roof on before the rain started. They have not finished it, though. The other half has to be done.
Okay, because I was there this morning and I was like, a little challenging to do a site visit with roof construction
sorry.
going on.
Thank you. I would have walked you down. I did not know that. No, they did it. They started. They have not finished.
I didn't knock because that would have been.
There wouldn't have been anybody there. I was actually at work.
All right, so having looked at that site, it seems to me if you were to pull the stone wall closer to the house, it would have to be that much taller of a stone wall because the grass is so steep going down. So even though normally I wouldn't want structures inside the 35-foot zone, this natural boulder structure seems like a reasonable compromise between height of stone wall and steepness of lawn to kind of.
That's why we tried to find that sweet spot. We don't want it so tall that things have to jump over it. You know, we want to keep everything flowing through this yard. We don't have small kids, but you know, the next people might. So try to find that sweet spot, because wherever you put it on the hill, it's gonna have a significant impact on the height of that wall, yeah.
Okay, and then I guess my questions mostly are for Demetra about the plantings.
Okay.
I have your plant list. And so some of them, I was able to match up your code on your typed plant list with your letters written in on the plan. Not all of them made sense to me, like in front of the house is AZ, but I couldn't find an AZ on your plant list.
Oh, yeah, I didn't add, the plant list here is definitely for the backyard. Then I worked more in the front. Those are azaleas, just shrubs like that.
Okay, and is the front beyond the 100-foot line then? So that is, does that matter to us?
It looks like
It's some of it. If you can see the footpath, you can see it's a cross. That cross is actually about 105 feet from the wetland,
Okay.
from the intermittent stream, sorry.
So the azaleas out front are irrelevant to us if they're outside the 100-foot. What about the Rs?
Those are existing rhododendron that we're gonna try to, one is existing at the corner, the front corner of the house, and then the other one exists now on the right corner of the house, and I'd like to move it if I can.
Okay.
And that's up at the top, so I think it's out of that.
Okay, so R is rhododendron.
Yeah.
And GM?
Sorry, where are you?
Right near the crisscross of the path.
Yeah, probably like a Green Mountain boxwoods. They're not native.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not really fond of boxwood, having been digging them out of my property all over the place.
Are you digging them out because they died because of the boxwood blight or because you don't like them?
No, they spread.
Boxwoods?
I think that's what I've been digging out. They were somebody's hedge and they pop up like an invasive pops up here, there, and everywhere all over the yard.
Yeah, I'm guessing those aren't boxwoods.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. Okay.
Yeah, privet or something like that.
Maybe so. I told Rick I didn't want him to have boxwood because I thought they spread, but I seem to be mistaken. Okay.
Well, I don't know, I don't want to get involved in.
Write down the statement.
Sorry. Okay, so, and a few minutes ago, you said these were species and native. So these are all the true native, not varieties, not variations?
Right, so my goal is to use only species plants. I usually can do that by going to various nurseries and Garden in the Woods. They sell species grown from seed, trees and shrubs and perennials, so I'm confident I can do that.
That was a key part of the brief to Demetra, was to try and keep it in keeping with the landscape as possible. We didn't want this to look like an artificial type lawn.
Right, it's like trying to get, you know, that privacy sense of space, but without using a green fence of arborvitae or something like that. That's not what this is.
Right. Okay. Okay, so in the backyard, just inside toward the house from the stone wall, you've got a CV, and I'm not seeing, oh, I do see it, never mind.
Yeah, that's
I don't
a
know
fringe-
what that one is.
Fringe tree, Kinanthus virginicus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's a really lovely short tree, blooms in the spring, white flowers. It's just really pretty. Pollinators love it.
And have you checked this list of your plants against the native plant list that Chuck has on the town website?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know there was a native plant list.
Most of them look fine to me. I don't remember seeing viburnum winterthur on there. That doesn't sound
Yeah.
familiar to me.
The winterthur is, let me just see. Bear with me, because I just want to make sure. Viburnum winterthur. I think.
Fringe tree.
Yeah, it's a nudum, so it's named, but it's a viburnum nudum. And it's smaller, but flowers and the berries are the same color, so it acts like the species, it's just smaller, if that makes sense.
Okay, all right, and the hydrangea arborescens, is that
Yeah,
typical
that's-
native hydrangea?
Yeah, people call those Annabelle, but they're not. Hydrangea arborescens is the native hydrangea that, they're puffballs, they're sort of whitish and pinkish, very pretty. They die to the ground in the late fall. And they handle shade and they're pretty tough. Rabbits tend to leave them alone. That's a great plant. Annabelles are a named variety that don't perform the way the native does. The native feeds bees, which you want.
Okay.
And other pollinators.
All right. Okay, everything else looks good to me.
Okay.
The former lawyer in me feels that I should say that we did pull a permit for the roof, by the way, so, just so you know.
I would have expected so. Yeah, okay. Yeah, those are all my questions.
Okay. So you're gonna remove the shed.
Yeah.
Have you talked to the town about it?
Many times, but to get it moved, but, we'll talk about if you want a game plan as to how we're gonna do it.
Mostly, I just want to be sure that you have talked to them, and ideally you have some written item, even if it's an email saying that they're aware that you're gonna be doing it and they're okay with it.
Okay,
Now, you're gonna be pulling the shed out,
yeah, we'll definitely pull the shed out,
and you're
yeah.
gonna be cutting that dead tree?
No, that's on town land.
It's on the town. I know, but I didn't know if,
Yeah, no, we'll probably have somebody come take the shed, move the shed. Yeah,
Okay.
but if we need to file some sort of plan, happy to do that.
I don't know, but you should at least be talking to the right people
Yeah.
at town hall.
Yeah.
So they're absolutely aware
Will do.
that you're taking the shed out.
I'm sure they'll be very
It's a
happy
good
that we're
thing.
doing it.
They're on board with it. Now, you're replanting the area where the shed currently is,
I'd
right?
like to, yes.
All right. And you're planting pollinator plants along the side of your property?
Yeah,
Being careful not to encroach on town land along there.
yeah, it'll be on the transition into that town land, yeah.
And in your narrative, you talked about having a path go into the stream. If I can ask, what's the point of that?
Not a path, it's just some steps down. The primary reason, as I see it, is when you're sitting on that gravel patio, it opens up the fieldstone wall a little bit, you can see beyond it, you can see the wall. 14 years, I mean, right now I could just walk down the hill into the stream. Nobody's gonna go down there. I think it's more for sightline, and frankly, if something's walking through here, it gives them a way of getting down there and not having to go all the way around the wall and behind the shed. But that was the logic, and we'll keep it this side of the 25-foot line.
I was asking because in the past, we have seen places where a homeowner will put a path into a stream. Next thing you know, there's some planks or a rude bridge going across it in an attempt to expand.
It's not that.
Okay,
It's really, from my perspective, it's more when we're sitting on that gravel, that pea stone, it's to just open up the wall. You can then enjoy the wall and also just see down into that lower area.
all right, and we've heard fieldstone or boulders.
So Dimitra and I are having we're pushing each other on this. I come from England, right? So I like the idea of a dry stone dry stone wall, but I'm open to either. But what we will make sure is that it's not going to be a mortared wall of any sort. It's going to be a fully natural wall.
Yeah, I'm fine either way. I guess I'd prefer if you have a final decision to put in the plan, but it's not a big deal. Okay, I mean, you said you want Fieldstone, you're the homeowner, put your foot down.
You haven't met Demetra, yeah.
That's right. Come on now.
It's all a question of size, right? They're, it's just how big your rocks are?
Yeah, okay.
I did have
Yeah,
one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
I can't hear.
It's all right, it's Martha's turn.
Sorry, I had one other question. I noticed down the border with the property line that's the town side, there's a whole bunch of jewel weed all along that border right now. Do you have plans to leave that, or are you planning to do something with that?
No, jewel weed is great.
Okay, so you're leaving the jewel weed. Okay.
I mean, it's gonna get squished and it will look horrible once that shed gets dragged, you know, taken apart and pulled out of there, but it will come back.
Good. That was the answer I wanted.
I do think you need to be sure that whoever removes the shed impacts as little as possible. And then you get the plantings in as soon as possible to stabilize the soil that's been exposed. You don't want it to erode. You also don't want invasives to have a field day, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Chuck, do you have any comments?
Sure, yeah, I had some questions about the shed and planting on town land. But I think as long as you're going and you're gonna look into that, that's great, that's all.
Oh, the
we
old
ask.
shed, right, yeah.
I, you know, in the past, they've asked that the shed be moved. They didn't, want it on town property, so I think the permission has already been given. But
I'd just
might
like
as
to
well
see even an email.
go there again. The only other thing that I wanted to make sure is this sketch has some, jurisdictional setbacks on it. And so when you're talking or you're looking at the steps, they end just a little bit into the 35-foot line. Are you gonna try to be very accurate with this sketch? Or do we not really know where the fieldstone wall is and the steps are going to end?
I can answer that. We will stake these contour lines before we begin. And, we'll stake the 35-foot. And the steps do not need to go into past that zone. There, if one step is in there, that would be it. This is as drawn, is how this, you never know, you start digging and suddenly you find something and something gets adjusted, but nothing is getting adjusted dramatically.
Sure, and we understand that, but if you're gonna make a change, if it ends up being 2 steps or the fieldstone wall is a little bit longer or something like that, just give me a call,
Yeah,
go
we'll keep
out
you in
and
the
just
loop.
make sure there's no other alternatives and you can just move forward. So that's all I would ask. And that's all my questions.
Okay, any last thoughts, questions from the commission? Can I have a motion to close 50 Longfellow?
One second, do I have more questions? Yes, I'm sorry. I had a couple more notes on a different sheet of paper, sorry about that. The clump of oaks in the front yard seems to have a lot of bittersweet around the base of it.
Yeah, we're gonna get that out of there.
Good, I would love to see
That's
that
a
removed.
beautiful tree, and it doesn't deserve that.
Okay, and then, just confirm you're not taking any trees down on the property, is that correct?
The one dead one.
Yeah, the dead one on the town
It's
property.
on town, yeah.
But
We're not taking the dead one.
No, I know. You're asking the town to do that.
Right.
But,
Until
are
we
there
listen-
any trees being taken down in order to build the wall or do the plantings?
No.
Okay, so the place where you're going to be raising up the back of the backyard is already grass,
It's,
so,
Grass is stretching credulity, but it's green.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not trees.
right, okay.
Right.
Fine, so you won't be damaging the root balls of things by piling dirt on top of them, good, okay. And right now, there seems to be a metal kind of fireplace grill thing down at the foot of the hill. Are you gonna be moving that out of that area?
Yeah, it's just been there for years. Yeah, we'll move that out. It's
Okay.
never been used.
Okay,
Maybe when my son, but yeah, we'll move it.
I mean, it could go onto the patio.
Yeah, it could go into a dumpster, frankly.
Okay,
That's where it could go.
which leads to the next thing. I didn't see any evidence of any grass clippings, brush, anything like that down in the stream area. So just as a comment, continue that practice. Once you have those nice steps down, it's not time to dump your grass clippings down in the bottom.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we've had a constant battle with on this land on the left, because until fairly recently, all of the neighborhood would dump in there, and then, you know, Chuck or whoever put some signs up, which made us a little bit of a pariah in the neighborhood. But it's getting better, it's recovering, but before it was a huge dumping area. So yeah, don't plan to do that.
Great, thank you.
There is a pile of brush down there that I will move out, pull out.
Near the top of
So,
the hill?
bottom left of the shed, bottom right of the shed, there's some
Also,
brush.
the pile of firewood, kind of pile.
Yeah, those are logs.
Okay. And I assume you're putting some sort of ramp or steps leading into the shed that you just built? Yeah. Okay. All right, thanks. Those are all my notes.
Thank you.
All right, I
So motion to close
move to close.
for 50.
50 Longfellow Road.
Walter Talbot seconds the motion.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Keo in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, any conditions?
Oops.
One condition is moving that metal monstrosity out of it. One is being sure that if we discover that the steps are creeping down beyond the 35 foot, that you will talk to Chuck right away on
Yeah.
that.
Survivability.
3
We
years,
have trees and shrubs, right?
so 3 years, 100% on trees, 90% on shrubs.
100%?
On
For
trees,
trees.
90% on shrubs.
90, sure.
100% on trees, 90 on shrubs.
And the same thing we talked about earlier,
That's 3 years.
if anything fails before that time, then the clock starts again.
Get permission from the town to remove the shed. Get written permission.
No, that's on him. That's not our purview. That's just for his own advantage. Or protection, I guess is a better word.
Right?
Anything else? Okay. So then can I have a motion to issue a negative determination for 50 Longfellow?
So moved.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Keo in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Talk to you later, Demetra.
Good night.
Okay, next. 0 John Street, AKA 77 Walker's Brook Drive. You wanna let people in? Oh, good job. I'll read the blurb. Open the public hearing on request for determination of applicability filed by Corey Schutzman, Boston Gas Company pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, and/or the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1. The applicant proposes replacing an existing garage building and installing underground conduit to connect to existing structures at 77 Walker's Brook Drive. Work is proposed within bordering land subject to flooding, the 100-foot buffer zone, and the 200-foot riverfront area. The application and plans can be viewed during regular business hours at the Town Hall Conservation Office, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, and on the Conservation Division page under the project by year. Assessors Map 12, Lot 130, Reading file number 2025-12. Okay. Whoever's going to speak for the project, please introduce yourself and have at it.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right, good to see you all again. My name is Carolyn Holozak with BSC Group. I am here to represent the Massachusetts Electric Company. I will share my screen with you all. And thank you for that blurb. Yes, this proposed work primarily involves the replacement of that garage building currently demolished in, the building itself was standing until about 2011 when it was demolished. And just for comparison, I did bring up, this is a aerial image of the site when the garage building was in place in about 2011 before it was demolished. So you can see the building itself was there and was used as a storage site, which it has been still, even though the building is not there anymore. The foundation has been in place this whole time, and it has been used as a storage area within the center of the substation. So the purpose of this replacement is to just bring that building back in the same exact orientation with no change in size or function, as well as you mentioned those underground electrical and water connections to the existing building. There's a water main that runs down along the driveway that it will be connected to as well. And in addition, this area around the building is composed of mostly concrete and some pavement. So sections of that pavement will be replaced, refurbished, as well as the original building itself had a septic tank, not a septic system, but a septic tank below the surface, and that will also be replaced below the surface as it used to be. And that was a question that came up during the site walk, was where the extent of that pavement is. So we updated our maps, and I can send this to you, to the commission, that it shows where the existing paved surfaces are. And this also shows the location of that little septic tank in a small patch that, like about 10 feet by 10 feet, that is earth and not currently paved. But the rest of it is bituminous, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, bituminous concrete, and part of it's already paved as well. As you mentioned, this entire site is within bordering land subject to flooding. Most of it's within that 200-foot riverfront area associated with Walker's Brook on the eastern side of the site. And most of it's also within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands surrounding the substation. This work is well outside of the 25-foot buffer zone, and all of these replacement activities and maintenance activities fall under exemptions under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Reading Wetlands Bylaw. Some sections come under direct utility replacements, section 10.022A2. Some fall under the exemptions for the installation of equipment within an existing electric or gas facility within the developed yard. That's 10.02.2B2K. Overall, this work should have no adverse impacts on the jurisdictional resource areas overlapping the site. We're not proposing to enlarge or add any additional, impervious surfaces to this project, or increase or change in function at all from what's there. This is mostly replacements. So we did conduct a site visit with everyone this morning, not everyone this morning. There's about three of you on site, and Matt Adam from National Grid came and explained the scope of work. Some questions came up that site visit. First of which I brought up was the location of the concrete and the asphalt proposed to be replaced around this garage. So we've added that to the map. I can forward that to the commission. There were several other questions. I can, if now is a good time, I can go through each of the questions that I wrote down from you guys previously, and I have answers for you.
Yep, might as well save us from asking them again.
All right. The first one was are there any existing conditions that require a specific schedule for vegetation management at the substation? We were looking into the field to the south. And I did double check our last order of conditions we received for this site. And the short answer is no, but we did have one special condition, number 6, that indicated that if additional trees on site need trimming or removal, to contact the Conservation Commission or administrator for approval. And we agreed that we don't want any of those plants growing up to be shrubs and into trees, so that we would have to, request permission to remove those again. So this site will be mowed regularly to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Can you tell us what you mean by mowed regularly?
We don't have a set schedule right now, but at least 2 times a year.
Okay, so do you as BSC have any opinions on whether 2 times a year is the way to do it? We've heard recently from Mass Audubon, who encouraged us to do it once a year in the spring. Does BSC have any guidance on it?
We do not have any guidance on it. It's something that hasn't been regulated from our standpoint in the past. If the commission has guidelines that are based on Audubon's guidelines, we will certainly take those into consideration.
Okay, we can talk about that later in the conversation then.
Yeah, we also might want to talk about that for the other order of condition, the other project that was on this site that involved the removal of those trees. There's no work proposed as part of this RDA on that half of the site.
Right. Did you have any other questions you wanted to give us?
Yeah. Well, somebody asked about the sewer and water connections on site. So I was able to confirm that down the driveway and along this western side of the driveway, there is an 8-inch water main. There is no existing septic, but it turns out that the existing septic that they had in this garage before was just a holding tank, and they will be replacing it with a holding tank that gets pumped out as needed, so it doesn't leach into the ground. There's no septic system in place. It's not connected to town septic. We also talked about the history of soil contamination.
Hang on a second, before you go on, going back to the water main, do you have any idea when that was last used, what kind of shape it's in? Is there a chance you're gonna find that it's deficient and need to be repaired?
I suppose if we do investigate and find that it's deficient and needs to be repaired, that would be something we would bring before you or
I was just wondering if
the town.
anybody had turned the water on to see if it actually still runs.
That's a really good question. No, I don't have the answer for that at this time. But if we do notice any deficiencies with it, that if that needs to be replaced at any point, I'm sure we'll bring that before you as well.
Okay, back to you.
All right. Soil contamination. At the site visit, Matt said he did not think there was any previous data about soil contamination. He wasn't particularly worried about it. And so I did take a look into previous projects that we've had on the site. I also double checked on Mass Mapper, the layer for DEP tier classified 21E sites. And there were no areas of soil contamination that are significant enough releases anywhere near this site. So I know the Conservation Commission was still thinking about this. If you would like us to include we usually do an environmental field issue training to the crews before they go out there. And National Grid does have some specific best management practices for identifying contaminated soils and reporting contaminated soils. And they have specific BMP forms for those. So we can include that in our environmental field issue documents. That's also something I can follow up if you want those for your records. I can send you those BMP detail pages.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Someone asked about the process, the steps for removing and installing the foundation. So with relation to the stockpile area as well. So typically to expedite construction, stockpile area will be beneficial and will be needed as an area to put the concrete as it's being torn down. Let's see. That will usually be put on a dump truck to return after to the disposal facility. Sometimes that stockpile is put on a dump truck, taken right to the facility. That can be a slow way to go. So there probably will be an existing stockpile on this site. Since we do not know exactly where the crews will want to put that, we will run the location of the stockpile and any BMPs related to that by the commission before construction starts, as kind of a way to notify you of the location of that stockpile and to get your approval for that. There could also be a way to use the existing footprint as a stockpile as they break it down. But essentially, first, they will furnish and install erosion controls prior to construction. They'll demolish and remove that old concrete foundation. They will load out all the broken concrete to a legal dumping facility. They'll excavate for and install footings with rebar, place concrete, furnish and install frost wall forms and rebar. Someone asked about that, so there will be a frost wall. They're going to then furnish and install anchor bolts for the building frame. They're going to place the concrete, strip and backfill outside the walls, provide interior trenching for water, sanitary, electrical, bed and backfill all the utilities, and then prep the interior concrete and install the welded mesh wire. So that's the step-by-step process of how that foundation is going to go in. And that while I may not be an expert on that, does anybody have any other questions about the foundation and how that's going in?
No, doesn't look like it.
All right, I will reiterate that it's going to be in the exact same footprint, no changes in size. And along those lines, in addition to the stockpile location, you also wanted the dewatering location, concrete washout locations, and erosion control locations. We did confirm that there will be erosion controls placed around the perimeter of the site. There currently are. Silt socks out there, the silt socks are out there from the previous project. So those will be refurbished as necessary. And then we will again reach out to you before construction starts to show you on this map where we are planning to put the dewatering, the concrete washout, and the stockpiles. And those will be as far away from the wetlands as possible, probably within those existing paved and concrete areas as well, and surrounded by more erosion controls. And then the last question again was about the paving, which we show on this plan again. And I can forward that to the commission as well.
Great.
At this point. Any comments on those existing questions, or can we jump into any more that you guys have?
I don't see any comments on the answers you just gave, so let me ask if there's any other comments or questions from anybody. No, haven't said that. Chuck, you have something?
Oh, Martha.
Oh, I didn't see a hand.
Sorry, I was slower than Chuck. As I drove out the driveway, I noticed that there is existing erosion control along the driveway that has green plastic netting around it. And it seems like that needs to be taken up at some point so that we don't end up with the green netting left in the environment. And I don't know if that should be taken up before this project or when this project is completed might be the better time.
I believe that is associated again with the previous project on this site, and we haven't filed the RCOC for that yet, but those erosion controls, all that plastic netting will be removed as part of that project.
Okay. That was it.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Chuck?
I was caught with the RCOC for a second. I'm pretty sure you can make not have woody vegetation grow in that field if you only mow it or trim it once a year. And that's what the commission's been doing. I think the only question is whether it's in the fall or the spring. Now, I'm not putting any conditions on this to say that it needs to remain this way, but I think while it's acting as an open field, it would be nice to just have it there for, overwintering, escape cover, foraging, for, any birds or animals that get in there. It doesn't seem like there's a plan for it right now, and I think that the commission should ask, since it's in our jurisdictional area, to just have the cooperation from Boston Gas, that we just follow the same protocol that we use at our own Bear Meadow.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Boston Gas is very open to those recommendations. And as you heard from the guy we spoke with on the site this morning, he's very open to recommendations like that as well. So yeah, again, I believe that conversation belongs more with the other project, the RCOC. But since we're talking about it now, we can definitely include that as a suggestion in our EFI training. Just kind of let the crew know that this is the general standard in the town, and that if we can encourage them to just do it once a year, according to those guidelines, we will absolutely do that.
Yeah, and I think the other comment that came up is it obviously looked like there was a lot of handwork out there, and they didn't tackle some of the, birch trees that had grown in, whatever else is out there. And they're getting a little bit big, so that should be on their list for next spring
Yeah, if not by the end of this year, yeah.
Well, here we go again, but we're asking that nothing happens this year, so it's able to be used over the winter. So next year would be our request. So
all right.
That's when it should happen. And it would be nice to know that, again, I'm not saying, hey, this has to be a field, we're not putting any requirements. While they're not using it, why not just let it grow in and manage those habitat functions. So that's all I had. It's the only comment I wanted to make.
Okay, Martha.
Thank you, yeah.
One other question. This septic holding tank, is that standard practice? It seems like these days Title V or something says you have to have septic systems or tied into sewer or something. Does anybody?
Well, see if Carolyn knows. I can tell you what I know about it, but
okay.
I'm just wondering if BSC knows what they have to say.
As a wetland scientist, I must say that that's not something that I have a lot of experience with personally.
Sure, I just ran into it when I was up in Boxford. So usually when it's in close proximity to a wetland and you can't get that the D-tank and the fields sufficiently far enough away from groundwater. And again, we all know that this groundwater is drinking water also because of our experience at 87 Walkersburg. Yeah. So I think a tight tank is what they're using because they don't want it to infiltrate into the existing groundwater. So I think that's what we're talking about here is a tight tank, and it's a system that they use a lot next to streams and ponds. So
they get pumped up like 6 times a year.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Frequent, very, very frequent. I just ran into it in the house.
And so I gather this building isn't used very much.
Well, that one might be small. I never heard that it was pumped out a lot.
Yeah, they're pumped out very frequently.
Well, depending on size.
Okay, doesn't matter. We don't need that detailed.
But basically, any water that runs down the drain ends up in this tank and it just fills up with water and whatever else went in there and gets pumped out. None of it leaks out of that tank into the ground.
It's a steel tank.
Okay.
And it has an alarm on it.
Ah. Okay, so it tells you when it's full.
Tells you when it's full.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. Again, good point. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Any other questions from the commission?
Done.
Any other questions from Charles?
I'll talk to Tim later about the tight tank.
Okay, that'll be good. In that case, can I have a motion to close this hearing, please?
I move to close the hearing on 0 John Street, AKA Walker's Brook Drive.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion.
Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, wanna list some conditions?
Conditions, mowing in the spring, cutting the trees, which are not trees now, but they're saplings in the spring. Soil containment, they're gonna go over protocol for BMP identification and reporting docs with the contractors prior to start, and they're gonna provide that same documentation to the Conservation Commission. Dewatering and stockpile area will be identified on a plan and sent to the Conservation Commission. Forgive me, was that for our approval, or they're just gonna show us? I think, did we, Carolyn, do we have approval over that? Was that what we were going to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can have some approval over that if you want.
Okay, for our.
It can be a conversation, yeah.
If I can intrude for a second, did we talk about a concrete washout?
Yeah, and that was another,
Yes.
I'm not sure that location needs to be known, but that could be for our approval also.
Right.
So the stockpile area, the dewatering, concrete washout will be shown on a plan, and it will get the approval of the administrator or the commission. And then the erosion control, you said you would replace the erosion control. I think there's erosion control out there now, we saw that. We don't wanna waste valuable resources for anyone in this world. So we just want erosion control in the proximity of the work. And if you could look at what's out there, if it was sufficient, that's fine. If not, fortify those areas that need existing erosion control. And then at the end of this project, and it sounded like it was going to be at the certificate of compliance for the other project. Before that happens, they'll be removing all the erosion control and all that netting will come out. And I'm not sure that other project's finished. So what are we waiting for? Because typically this commission doesn't allow two projects to be open at the same time.
The only thing we're waiting on for that project is the replacement of that fence around the border.
Oh, it's gonna be
And they're not prioritizing that until, some of this work is done so that they're not interfering with vehicles going in and out.
Okay, so maybe another year or so.
Do you think it's gonna be done?
Should be, yeah.
In a year or so?
And does that need, and it has another year on it. I think we talked about that out in the field. There's at least another year on that old order of conditions before it
Yeah,
expires.
and I was actually just trying to think, I think the mulch socks that are there are in good enough shape that the ones along the driveway aren't gonna disintegrate and leave the netting around, if it's a year.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was what I had for conditions.
Any other
I have
conditions?
one
anybody?
question,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
if you'll allow me. The mowing plan, you listed that as a condition at the beginning. Should we include that in this, or are we gonna include that in the RCO, the other RCOC, the other project?
So the problem
'Cause
with,
this-
so once you issue an order of conditions, you can't add any conditions to it. So I'd like to see it in this, which we have an opportunity to add something into. So we'll put it here, but if you want to think about it for that other one, which is a notice of intent, then fine. But I'd like to start having it in some sort of documentation. So we'll start
Yeah.
here.
Could it be worded as a recommendation, or is it going to be worded as a very strict condition?
I would think strict condition. I mean, if we're gonna enforce that in our other areas in town, we should be consistent. Okay? I didn't see your head nod, I was wondering. Okay, that's it for conditions. Can I have a motion to issue a negative determination for 0 John Street?
So moved.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Tim Shaw in favor.
You in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks. All right, so let's take 50 Johanna, because that's the last one what people are here for.
Okay. we are going to go out of order. And we're going to address enforcement order for 50 Johanna. Is there somebody online for that?
Maureen Harold's here, let her in.
Hi, Maureen Harold, North Environmental.
Hello, Maureen.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, I can bring in the plan if that works for the commission.
Sure.
Okay, just one moment here. Okay. Let me just bring up my notes. So, I think the last time we met was during the site walk. The commission had requested some revisions. We added wetland flag 4A, which is located here. So that was added in the field and field surveyed and shown on the revised plan. We also marked the proposed fence line, so that's shown in red on this plan. If the commission recalls, we hung pink ribbon. So the survey has picked up the pink ribbon as well, and that now reflects the red line on the plan. We discussed the 8 trees and the 8 shrubs, specifically about relocating them between the off-site resource area and the back of the fence line. That's been done and updated on the plan. I also had some notes added. I'm gonna scoot over here. All right. The bottom section of the fence shall have a 3.5-inch gap from the ground. The Oriental bittersweet shall be cut and managed. And the off-site leaf piles, which was near that new wetland flag 4A-1, shall be removed from the resource area and the buffer zones. And I am hoping that covers all the commission's concerns, and I can open it up if you have any questions.
I do have one point on the removal of the leaves and everything. We don't ask people to take it down to the soil. As you get nearer the soil, the leaves are already decomposing. So those lower layers, you can leave those because it's already providing habitat and what have you. So you're taking off the top layers of leaves.
Understood.
Okay, any other questions, comments from the commission?
Are the trees already cut down on this one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's an enforcement order.
No, I think at the last meeting, they had left.
There
we had voted to.
There were ones that were.
They were having a
but not
kid.
taken down.
So the snags have come down?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all stumps when we went out there for our last.
Right. And good luck tomorrow. Was there a plan for them to come back and grind the stumps later, and has that been done yet?
So the direction that we received at the site walk was no further work was to be performed. So no, that has not been done yet.
Got it. Okay. So those stumps, if they want to grind the stumps, that's included in this plan?
Yes, we'd like to be able to grind the stumps.
I just want to say I like the locations of the trees and shrubs that you put in. And I'm fine with the fence location as well. It seems like it goes close to the stream at the top of the plan.
In this location here?
Yeah. But the back edge is outside the 35 foot. I'm happy with that.
well, I agree with you, it is a little bit closer in that location. But we did hang the pink ribbon in the field. And maybe the confusion was at that time is we didn't see this back or the side yard property line staked. So maybe that's why it's a little bit closer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just we have no trees and shrubs inside that 25-foot no disturb line and also inside the fence. They're only on the outer edges of that 25-foot no disturb sign.
So that was discussed at the site walk, and I believe Chuck made the suggestion to relocate the trees and the shrubs to the backside of the fence. Because I originally had, I think, 3 trees in this area.
Yeah.
And it was discussed, let's put it behind the fence.
Yeah, I do remember that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chuck, you have something to say?
I did, but it sounds like I don't need to mention. Yeah, it was about the fence, but you said you agree with the fence location, so I'm good.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Boy or girl?
I haven't heard.
Okay, well, that was a right turn. Okay, then can I have a motion to approve this restoration plan?
I move to approve this restoration plan for 50 Joanna Drive.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Yeah, well, wait a minute, we're gonna approve the restoration plan, update the enforcement order, and when is the work going to be completed by? Or maybe Maureen, you wanna let us know when work's gonna start happening with the planting, so I can get it right on the first time when I rewrite the order.
I mean, if we could have until the end of the growing season, right now it's just the pits to plant. Unless you actively want to water every day, which is a lot of work. So if we could have to, you know, even November 15th or November 1st, whatever the commission is comfortable with, and then go from there.
Sure, we're gonna do the 3-year look back, 100% on the trees, 90% on the shrubs.
And if anything fails, it gets replanted and the clock starts again. It says again.
I'd say November 15th is fine.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay, so you were making a motion?
You can just say, so moved.
So moved.
So it was already said once, you know.
Walter Talbot seconds, so moved.
Tim Jones. Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe's in favor. Thank you, Maureen.
Thanks, have a good night.
Yep.
Okay. So getting back on track. Have to hurry.
So we have Lila Lane.
Yep. Request for certificate of compliance for 51 Lila Lane. Somebody here for them? Okay. Any comments, questions from the commission?
So this is an old order of conditions. It's number 198. These old ones come up every once in a while. It's tough to look back. This looks like it's like 1989. 1989. It was a subdivision, Deborah Drive, and this is one of the lots. This really hangs up people when they're buying houses or trying to sell them or refinance. Sometimes I agree that we need an as-built plan, and sometimes I think it could be waived, but that's always up to the commission. The way the Wetlands Protection Act sees it, is that we always need a as-built plan. So it's in every case, it's up to the commission to waive it, but we can point to a section in WPA and not give a certificate of compliance if commissioners felt like they wanted. And the reason is because we have to make sure the work was completed properly. So we need to know what we asked for, and we have to know what's existing. So we wouldn't be able to tell without a plan and an as-built of how it was built. In this case, I think the chair is going to make a recommendation, and leave it there. Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing, JK.
So, I am gonna make a recommendation. First, I'm gonna say we did a site visit. It looked in good shape. We didn't see any real yard waste or anything like that. Through the gate in the back right, we did see some plastic bins. They will have to be taken out. But there wasn't what we see typically with the yard waste, leaves, grass clippings, or anything. So my recommendation will be that we do waive it. It has been a problem with this particular area in the past. And from my perspective, these people have done the right thing for a long time, and I think we should let them go. So, having said that, questions on recommendation or anything else? No, okay. I have a motion to approve a certificate of compliance.
But add the waive to, either do them together or do them separately, but add that.
So whoever's gonna make the motion, add that in.
So I move that we waive the requirement for an as-built plan and approve the certificate of compliance for 51 Lila Lane.
Walter Talbot seconds that.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keel in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Oh, Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay.
Was there an update to 25 South Street, or I just left it on there by mistake?
No, the update is that I have not been able to, this is a property where there was unpermitted tree cuts. Martha and I have been out to talk with them, actually a number of times at this point. And we have arrived at a final determination, which I'm trying to communicate to the homeowner. I have not been able to get through on the phone for various reasons. So I got the address from Martha and I sent an email telling the homeowner what we have in mind and that I want to speak to him. That was only done today, so no answer yet. So I'll give another update for the next meeting.
Yeah, so I would say we'll hang tight and we'll update the enforcement order once you have your discussion. Okay.
Okay. There are no other updates on item 12, the violation notices. Brings us to discussion items. The first one is the coordination meeting with DPW. The roster has now changed where it's just Chuck from the conservation side of the house. So Chuck, do you want to give us an update on your last meeting?
Yeah, so I don't know how this happened, but there was someone, Andrew McNichol, Chris Cole, or Mike Kessman, felt it would be a more streamlined process to have it staff only. So I'm still not part of writing the agenda, which seems to come out a few hours before the meeting. And there's no time to add my things into it. And we're still not hearing what DPW is doing or planning to do. But they've started talking about a few projects. Actually, I take that back. It came up in the meeting, a couple of projects. So then we went and ended up looking at those, and so the process that immediately started was they told me about some projects, and Mike brought up that for my requests, which are once a year at this point, I need to fill out this form, and he had like a draft of something that he wanted. So I actually put together a form, and I have to fill this form out when I do projects like I did last year, like the deck and the benches and things like that, and give them dates and quantities and things like, you know, who's doing them, if it's a grant, a lot of information. And so when we looked at one of their projects, which was at the end of Longwood Ave, which is off West Street, they want to repave the area that's near the pump station. If you go out there anytime, you'll see the white dotted line on the ground. Now, I thought repaving the exact amount of pavement is something that the commission may not be involved in, just like you're not involved in people repaving their driveway. So I thought it was very consistent for me to look at it and make that determination. So the other thing that they're doing there is they're just going to put a new liner in the existing pump station, which is all kind of inside the tube work. There'll be people out there, there'll be this and that. And so those things came up in the meeting, and then me and Mike had to drive around and look at a couple of projects. So that was also an additional thing that we ended up doing. And so he's going to have to fill up the same form that I need to fill out to determine whether these projects are going to be minor projects, RDAs, or notices of intent. We were also able to get together on a new kind of add in, and I was able to speak to Mike and Chris Cole very clearly about some notices of intent. The commission's very understanding that Mike Kessman will be filling these out. But certain ones we would like some support from a wetland firm, and they agreed to that. There's a couple that come in mind, but they're more intensive. They're armored bank repairs. So there's a lot of things to think about within that, and they agreed that that would be a good time to get someone else in. So I think it was a first good meeting. We had followed up with a pretty lengthy site visit and driving around town, but yeah, it seems like first meeting is pretty good. So I would just say that anything that you guys see, eyes and ears of the commission, anything you see around town, we always have these on the first Tuesday of the month. So get those comments to me. Hey, I saw this. These are town projects. This is not like homeowner stuff. Did you hear about the work on Walkersburg Drive? Did someone report that to you? I saw a truck taking down trees, or someone was in the drainage ditch cleaning it up. That's the kind of stuff that we wanted to mention. Even though it looks small or big, it's still good to mention it, because believe it or not, sometimes all that information and all that work doesn't get up to the top very quickly. So Chris and Mike may not even know about some of these things, and it's good to mention them, good to get them on the list.
It's good to let them know that we are looking and taking note. That helps them do things the right way.
Yeah, and I don't want to say they don't know about anything. The two I mentioned, probably they would absolutely know about, but there's other things that they may not know about.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay. Do you have any administrative report above beyond what you just talked about?
No, not for now. Yeah, I think that I'd like to update you on the Montessori Forest School, but that's
9 minutes ago. We're probably not going to do that.
What?
No, if you want to go ahead.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait on that. It's there's a lot of things happening about that right now. We're going to hold off on that. The cabin deck, the deck is completed. There's a few little odds and ends that needs to be completed before we get our final. And I guess the most important thing is right now we're not using the cabin is not available for renting at this moment. And the town's working on that at this moment also, and to see if we can get it in a position so it can be rented.
Okay.
That's my report.
Great, thank you. Let's move on to minutes for approval. The first one is June 25th. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from June 25th?
I move that we approve the minutes from June 25th.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Michelle, in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Rainbow in favor.
Brian, do you want to go over the process for if they do have comments, how that happens, just for our new members?
Sure. So the minutes are written up by our scribe. She sends via email the minutes to us. If you have comments, send them back to her directly. Do not copy the other members of the commission.
Her and me.
And, yeah, I was gonna say that, but not to the rest of us because that violates the open meeting law. And then it's up to her to update. So your comments go in, she updates, we approve it, and the updated ones are stored.
Yeah.
So comments go to Emily and Chuck.
Okay.
And then we'll be looking at the updated version at the meeting to approve. And so we don't have a great system for this. You'll have to look for your updates. If they're not on there, you would say, I had updates, they're not on here, so we can't approve these minutes.
Okay. Minutes,
Where would we look for those updates?
Where would you look for the updates? Well, you know where the section is you've updated. So when you get the updated minutes, you need to check it to make sure your updates are in it.
I don't think Emily sends out the updated minutes.
She doesn't.
I don't
Not
think
that
so.
I have seen. So we have to ask her to do that?
I thought that was what was happening. She's doing the updates. Like,
Maybe she's only
we should be
sending-
voting on, she's writing the minutes, we're reviewing them.
In the past, what we've done is we've approved the minutes as amended.
And then, yeah, but then we said she should be doing all the updates, so I thought that was, the process for that would be, we need to approve
No, she hasn't.
the
she hasn't
updated
been-
version.
She hasn't been sending out the updates.
The complication would be each of us might have comments. So is there a time frame by which we have to send our comments in? So only one final is available?
No, because if the system breaks down, we've put minutes off for a couple meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't see your comments, or you had comments, or you're not ready to approve, just let us know.
So in other words,
So the guidance to her will be, if you get updates, update the document, wait until before the next meeting, maybe the Monday before, and then send out whatever you have. And that gives us a few days to read it, review it if you want. If not, we're going to approve it anyway, but we'll be approving amended minutes. All right. Can you talk to her about that?
I need to ask her to send out the updated version when she's finished updating it.
Mm-hmm.
No. So.
I'm sorry, I was looking to see whether I had sent my comments
So
on.
Walter's thought, which is a valid one, is what happens if each one of us is sending things in independently? We don't want her having to update 5 times. Not that that's likely to happen anyway. So what I suggested is she would just accumulate any updates and send out an updated one as necessary, say the Monday before the next meeting, which gives us a few days to review it in time for us to approve the amended one.
Well, why don't you say, so it's easy. Once they're in, so you would look and you'd have these new minutes, draft minutes. You know what date they came in. 2 weeks, you have to have your comments in within 2 weeks, okay? Whenever they come in, or whatever that number
Fair
is,
enough.
right? Because then if you didn't do it until like Wednesday, you would always remember 2 weeks. You could see if you had time or not. You got to live with what it is.
That's right. And in the end, the bottom line is you will live with what it is.
Yeah, and then so after 2 weeks, she can send them out again with any comments.
So we would not be able to approve the most recent minutes at a meeting because that 2 weeks cycle hasn't finished yet.
Right, there'll be a lag.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
How we get around that with the open meeting law is that you are allowed to post draft minutes. Just have to say draft. It hasn't happened where someone wants them. Usually when someone requests the minutes and they're not there, we send them the draft.
yeah, okay.
Right, so that doesn't.
She has, at this point, caught up on all the back minutes and sent out all the way through July 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
But are we therefore not voting on July 23rd today because people didn't have a chance to send corrections and see the update version?
It's up to the commission, but I think we could vote on these and then start that policy with this meeting.
Okay, so Emily accumulates updates and sends out the amended version.
Whenever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when the date she sends them out, 2 weeks from there, it's final. If I don't get an email from her, I will put it on the agenda and we'll have to discuss it at our meeting just to make sure we're on top of this until it becomes.
Bottom line,
You sent me the minutes, didn't you? No? Oh, I thought the last email had the minutes.
No.
Oh, Chuck did attach the minutes to his,
Oh,
that's what it was.
and since I appended my
see.
my site visits, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, yeah, because I asked Chuck to include all of the minutes Emily had sent because she wasn't sure she had the newest members' email addresses, so you might not have gotten the original version.
Two left in a minute, 15 seconds.
This is gonna be easy. So, have a motion to approve the minutes for July 9th.
I move to approve the minutes on July 9th.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Michelle in favor.
Hugh in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Ryan Rowe in favor. Minutes for July 23rd. Can I have a motion to approve those?
I move to approve the minutes for July 23rd.
Walter Talbot seconds.
Michelle in favor.
Hugh in favor.
Walter Talbot's in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Ryan Bowe in favor. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 9:58?
I move to adjourn at 9:58.
All in favor? Okay, great.
All right, great.